In about 12 hours, President Obama will address a joint session of Congress to lay out his jobs package. Joining us now, Congressman Kevin Brady of Texas, the Deputy Majority Whip. And Congressman, I keep asking this question, and I understand it's 14 months to go, so I'm not even cynical about how politics work, but will the Republicans at this point just not go along with anything just because they can, even if it's is the payroll tax, is that something that in the past GOP has been for that? Will you say no to that this time?
Well, it depends. A better example might be free trade, getting these 3 sales agreements moving forward, repatriation, lowering the tax gate, bringing back up to $1 trillion of stranded U.S. profits. Yeah, there is room for common ground. I think we've got, I think we're actively questioning the value of the payroll tax cut. This is the 5th sort of consumer rebate over the past decade. None has really had an economic impact. This one has an impact on Social Security and Medicare, and so I think we're really looking at, what's the economic impacts of continuing this?
How do we respond to infrastructure ideas? Because I never know how to come down on those, because if there are things that need to be done, and we know they need to be done, and we do have a lot of construction guys that because of the housing slump, they're just sitting around, and we do have things that need to be done, and is there a way to structure a public-private partnership that would be good for the country and wouldn't blow out the deficit any more than it is, and that would actually work to put people back to work?
Absolutely there is. In fact, a number of states are already doing that, which is one of the questions will be about this proposed infrastructure bank. The truth is, infrastructure does drive the economy, but it's very long term. If you're counting on it for a short-term boost, it's not going to happen. I think the better solution than the infrastructure bank is to fix the Highway Trust Fund once and for all, fix the Aviation Trust Fund and the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund once for all. Those are the long-term solutions. If you talk to our states, to those who are making decisions on these projects, that's what they're really looking for.
Congressman, when you say fix them, fixing those programs, how do you propose fixing them?
Well, I think we need to, on the Highway Trust Fund, I think we need to return more dollars directly to the states. Truth is, we've built out the majority of the national projects. Now the biggest issues are how do you expand and handle capacity and maintenance at the local and regional level. I think we ought to, frankly, be pushing more of those dollars, not through the federal formulas and through the federal pipeline. The other thing, I think 3 quick reforms. One, I think we need to end Davis-Bacon. That would stretch almost a quarter more of our highway funds and the diversion out of highways and transits that happens today. And then finally, if we just set the goal of cutting our approval process for these projects in half, you would see those dollars go much faster and much farther than they do today. So there's some real reforms we can put in place that we get much bigger bang for the buck than we do today.
What are the chances, though, that you repeal Davis-Bacon in a administration that is so friendly to the unions?
Yeah, going to be tough to do, no question about it, but I think those reforms in a package where we can say literally, let's get 25% better bang for the buck out of the money we have, and let's put that trust fund on a permanent financial footing. I'm telling you, back home, in the last week, we met with some of these highway, state, local highway policymakers, and look, they're not looking for gimmicks. They're looking for a long-term solution.
At the beginning of our conversation, you said some things that we can agree on, and you mentioned the free trade agreements, and then you mentioned the repatriation.
Yes, sir.
That's something that Republicans agree on. Is there any reason to think that the president's going to propose either one of those things tonight? I mean, agreeing amongst yourselves isn't really bipartisan, right? I mean, I think that both of those things make sense too, but that's not, is that on the plate? Have you heard that leak out that maybe he'd talk about repatriation or free trade tonight?
Well, yes.
Really?
As a matter of fact, I think the trade agreements, he's done a lot of work on the 3 pending trade agreements. We have bipartisan support on the board for all 3 agreements today.
Why don't we do it?
Yeah, exactly. I keep hearing that, but that never happens.
It's because of the retraining stuff, right? You can't get...
No. I'm telling you, we have the votes for all of that agenda, including the trade assistance. The president needs tonight to say, I'm sending those 3 bills up today.
Wow,
and if he
that'd be
does
good.
that, we're going to move it. In repatriation, more and more people, more and more studies have shown
Andrew
the
doesn't like
economic
that.
impact.
Yeah,
So
Andrew doesn't like that.
I don't love.
It might go to shareholders, or it might just,
Yeah.
you know, the companies might come to the United States, and these evil companies might just keep the money.
Don't say it so cynically. No, honestly, if the goal is to create jobs,
That's not the only goal. It's to get it, it's to bring it
I
back
tell
to
you
this
what,
country.
Look, no one yet has explained to me why $1 of stranded American profit left overseas is better than $1 brought home and invested here for any reason. And the truth of the matter is, it creates jobs and R&D and expansion. It's a stimulus without $1 of government money. I think it's the right thing to do.
I would agree. I want to say on the record, I would agree if there was a long-term program so that this was not a holiday and we did it all the time.
I
That's
agree
the
with that.
distinction.
Right. Okay,
Fundamental
fine.
reform is what we need, but in the short term, it's a help.
All right, Congressman, you think Perry did all right last night?
Yeah, I did. I think he did well.
He did well? Okay, we got 10 seconds. We always have 10. Why?
Only 10
We always got to
seconds.
go somewhere.